Hey everybody, it's Old School Heart back with another cultural conversation for you guys. It has been such a long time since I've done a cultural conversation, almost like a month or two. So I'm excited to be back with interesting topics to talk about. And so thank you so much for tuning in. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscription button down below. Please thumbs up this video. Please share this video. And leave a comment. So I want to say thank you to all of you guys who watched Leaving Sunday. I know it's quite different than what I've done before, but I think that it will be some good times to share our thoughts. And episode 2 will be available on Sunday. Once again, the title of that series is called Leaving Sunday. And if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, go back and watch it and let me know your thoughts. This past weekend in Atlanta, Revolt Tv hosted a political summit or Revolt Summit. Now, if you're not familiar with Revolt is partially owned by Diddy, even though let Diddy tell you he is the only sole owner of Revolt TV. But they discuss a lot of hip-hop issues. They have the show with Joe Budden and Remy Ma, State of the Culture, I believe is what it's called. And I think they have some other shows that nobody pays attention to. So I think for Diddy, having this political summit really helped viewership because it was really low. And to get the name Revolt TV back out there so that people will start paying a little bit more attention to it. So this week they hosted a political summit and invited some interesting people to discuss African American issues as it relates to our economic state and our political state, and where we need to be or what we should be doing to prepare for the future election and other things. So this was hosted by Jeff. I believe we call him Cousin Jeff. I believe that was his name back in the day. Jeff was a political correspondent for some of BET's shows that needed political conversation. I used to see him a lot on 106 in Park. I think he tried to have his own show, but it did not work out well because BET does not know how to mix the news into their channel. They never have done a very good job at that. They did have one good host, and I can't even. Tavis Smiley was there, and Tavis is excellent, and Ed Gordon was pretty good as well. But Jeff never really could cross over, and so I think he had a show. It was canceled pretty quickly, so they just used him as a political correspondent. Now, I wasn't familiar with everybody that was on the panel, but that is okay because I didn't need to be familiar with everybody because everybody didn't end up talking anyway. So you had T.I. Was a guest on the panel. Killer Mike was a guest on the panel. And then you had Candace Owens, who was a guest on the panel. Now, we all know who Killer Mike is. We all know who T.I. is. If you're not familiar with Candace Owens, she's been a very controversial political figure quite lately. She said some controversial stuff. A lot of people disregard her, or I would even say hate her because of her affiliation to the Conservative Party or the Republican Party, also for her love of Trump. So they were supposed to be there. This was supposed to be just a discussion on like our future and, you know, what we have to look forward to and what we need to do moving forward. But this became a shit show very, very quickly. And it became something that I was so pissed. Like, I was literally screaming at my phone as I watched this summit, if that's what you want to call it. It totally pissed me off, from the host Jeff just not taking control of the different guests and trying to keep the audience calm, as well as keep control. So I'm gonna get on Jeff a little bit later. But I also wanted to get on some of the things that really pissed me off. So Candace Owens, a lot of people don't like her. She said some controversial things. She's been an ass in some areas. But I really felt bad for Candace this time. And I never thought that I would say that I would feel bad for Candace Owens. I never thought that that would come out of my mouth. But I was super upset with how the audience treated Candace, as well as T.I., and in a small percentage, Killer Mike. I thought that they were very disrespectful to her. It's one thing to not agree with what someone is saying, and there's another thing to be just totally disrespectful. Now, I believe, and it's my belief as I grow in maturity, that even if we disagree with a number of things a person says, that person still can be right on a number of issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked at Cook County Jail. I mean, there were men there that raped, killed, did all of that. But it's not like they didn't say some things that were right sometime throughout the day when I, provided services to them. They would be like, Tiffany, you know what? You drink a lot of pop when you come in here. You need to start drinking some water. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, there are probably things that come out of their mouth that doesn't make sense, but, there are some times that what they say does make sense, and I need to be adhering and listening. And I believe if we're going to be mature adults, we're going to have to distinguish between liking a person and hearing a person when they are right. And for me, I really had to think about that as I watched and listened to Candace Owens speak during this summit. Candace Owens made some very good points, and she was booed and disrespected because of it. Candace Owens was simply saying in this summit that, immigration is detrimental to African American people. Also, not having a father in the home is detrimental statistically to Black people. She's a numbers girl. I can appreciate a numbers girl. I think that there are motives that she has that just doesn't make any sense, and sometimes she can go overboard in that part. But her statistics and her research are dead on. There's something that you can view yourself, and she's not lying about them. And so to me, it was very disrespectful to not hear her out. And then you have somebody like T.I. who sits next to her and not only makes certain comments to her that are disrespectful, but also his body language also is very disrespectful. And it was hard for me to not want to smack T.I. Like, literally, I was just at that point where I was just super upset, because when you have somebody popular on a summit like that, people will tend to lean towards popularity than when they hear the correct information. And so I feel like T.I. took advantage of that and played it to his advantage. I mean, I believe that he played it to his advantage, and because of that, no one wanted to listen to Candace Owens. What I will say about T.I., I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. What I will say about T.I. is T.I. proved in this very moment that he is unaware of anything economically going on in the Black community. Any of our current affairs, he's not up to speed on. He has not researched any data. He has not read any books, and it shows. It shows terribly. And because of that, because he's able to articulate himself with big words, because he's also popular, because he says a lot of nigga points, if you want to, nigga conscious points, along with him being a popular figure, it creates this attraction in him with no substance. T.I. was very ill prepared to be a part of the discussion. T.I. did not give any valuable information, at all, and it showed that he did not know what he was talking about. I think what T.I. is good at is he's able to repost some great social issues that's going on. I believe he may even read those reposts and that media, but being a part of a discussion that is influential to Black people, I don't, especially politically, he's not well prepared for it, and it showed. Now here's the thing. I think T.I. is a great father. I think T.I. is a great artist, rap artist. I think that he has a certain character about himself that makes you want to be a part of what he's doing, right? Like, he's just like a magnet. He's an attractive man. He speaks very well too. That does not translate into being able to have a political discussion. And it can be quite scary to have somebody like T.I. be a part of this discussion, because he's very influential, and sometimes what he says goes, even if it doesn't make any sense and he doesn't have the educational background. Am I saying that he needs to be a scholar? Am I saying that he needs to have degrees? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that a well-versed, well-educated person in these areas is needed. So you need economic people on that stage. You need politically educated people on this stage. You need people like Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. You need economics on that stage. You know what I mean? You need Sandy Darity on that stage in order to provide context to what is needed for the Black community in the upcoming year and the upcoming political year. And so T.I. shouldn't have never been a part of that discussion. What I think T.I. can contribute is to make sure that we have the proper information on who to go to, and to also provide, if he can, financially and through influence. I think those are the things that he's able to do. But as far as I am concerned, T.I. is not prepared for the discussion, nor is he intellectually able to provide any depth. And so I was not feeling him. As far as Killer Mike is concerned, I was really irritated with Killer Mike because he became a character. With the whole niggas. It became less serious the more that Killer Mike began to talk. It became almost like a show instead of what it should have been, which is a political discussion about our future. And I think, you know, laughing is good, but this is serious, and our lives are serious, and our economic state is serious, and who we vote for is serious. So there were times I was listening to Killer Mike and it was annoying the shit out of me. Also because Killer Mike speaks from an Atlanta standpoint, and I think at some point Killer Mike has to understand that there are literally way other places beside Atlanta that are hurting terribly and that didn't get all of this influence that he speaks of. And if Atlanta was that type of place that still had influence like he said it is, they wouldn't have the highest eviction rates in the nation right now. So there's something going on in Atlanta that nobody's talking about. And the income for people, college graduates, wouldn't be so low. And also the college debt level wouldn't be so high in Atlanta. So there's some things that Atlanta's doing that isn't correct. So Killer Mike was quite annoying. And not only that, Killer Mike, other than when he acknowledged Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, other than that, I think there were some things that he said that he needed a lot more information. And so I hope that he reaches out to Antonio Moore so Antonio can coach him on some of the things that he needs to say, because the whole Biden shit, nobody's going for that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going for that. But as far as T.I. is concerned, and going back to T.I. is so not prepared to have a discussion about reparations because of nationality. He knows nothing about what he's talking about. You can tell that he's getting his information from some goddamn YouTube conscious motherfucker that nobody knows. And it showed. Not only did T.I. say that, but he was about to fix his lips to say that we are doing way better than we've ever done. African Americans are doing way better than we've ever done. T.I., where are you getting your information from? From your other rich friends that are around you? Like, we already know the statistics. Like, there's only like maybe 6 or 7 black billionaires. We only hold 1% of the wealth in the United States. African Americans only hold 1% of the wealth. Like, bruh, are you reading at all, or are you just spitting what the fuck you think you? Oh my God, like, T.I., like, just, honey, take care of those kids. Teach us how to be good fathers. Teach us how to produce a good album. I don't know. Okay, so let me move on because I'm making this super long. I was really pissed at Jeff as the host, and maybe it's because I'm a radio personality, but I was really pissed at Jeff as the host because he did not control the audience. Killer Mike controlled the audience. And so what the fuck did we need you for, Jeff? Because you didn't do nothing. There were times when they finally got to the question part that Jeff did nothing. He didn't control the questions or anything, or try to make sure that he knew what the questions was going to be. People was asking about their goddamn mixtape. People was talking about their business. And the summit was about political future and economic future for African Americans. Nigga, you do not ask T.I., how do I get my mixtape to you? That's not what you there for. Then another one, Killer Mike. You know, I be getting business with white people. Why I ain't getting them where? That's not what you're there for in that moment. You're there to ask pressing questions. And that's how I knew Revolt TV and the audience didn't take this shit seriously, because they didn't ask anything. You know, this I don't understand why Jeff, or whatever the fuck his name is, I don't understand why he was there if he was not going to control the audience and make sure that they were not booing Candace Owens, and also not asking specific questions that pertain to African American future, political, economic type questions. I don't understand. I do not get it. And I was super, super fucking annoyed by the whole goddamn conversation. You know, and it reminded me of, in the late 70s, early 80s, it reminded me of when everybody got together in Gary to decide as a collective, you know, how to push forth our agenda. Who should we vote for? What candidate should we have? And I remember looking at Eyes on the Prize, and this is one of the last Eyes on the Prize. I'll try to link it below, where they couldn't even have the goddamn discussion because they was arguing back and forth. And people were getting upset. People were starting to fight. And I don't know if this is like a black caucus, but I forgot where it was, but it was most definitely in Gary, Indiana, because unlike Killer Mike would ever admit to or know about, it seems, a lot of political influence came out of Gary, Indiana first. And I used to live close to Gary, Indiana. And so people will say that Gary, Indiana is not so hot right now, but historically, Gary, Indiana has been an influential place, not just because of Michael Jackson, but an influential place. And so they all gathered together, all of these political black leaders, all of these black influential people were there. Jesse Jackson was there. I believe Stokely Carmichael might have come, and some other people, and they got nowhere. At the end of it, they were there for hours and shit didn't happen. Nobody left with anything. And I'll try to post a link to that so you guys can see the mess of this. But it kind of reminded me of this. But I think Revolt TV needed this in order to boost their viewership. If you don't know by now that T.I. does not make any goddamn sense, I hope that you look at this Revolt TV and really listen to what T.I. said and go, this nigga don't know what he talking about. But of course, small clips are being played, so of course T.I. is getting a lot of accolade right now. Killer Mike is getting a lot of accolade, and we're just forgetting that Candace Owens dropped a lot of research and information. Do I still like her? No. Do I agree with what she said? Yes. Will I be following Candace Owens? No. But I felt like we could have done a better job with how they did her. And if they knew it, I think she knew that she was going to get some flack, but not to the point where she really felt defensive. So we have a lot of work to do. We see that popularity is very much still an issue for us. And emotionalism is an issue for us instead of facts, instead of research, instead of data, instead of history. We are very emotional, and I think we need to step back and stop the emotional behavior and really look at what is in front of us. And that is the state of our culture, the state of influence for African American people. Immigration is a problem. You know, like Candace Owens said, immigration is a problem. It's a problem if, you know, we have a lot of black men that's out of work and jobs are being given to those immigrants, and they're able to get $10 an hour, whereas an African American would automatically have to get $20 an hour for a job. So they are a big issue for us right now, you know. So Candace was right when she said that. Candace was also right when she said, you know, that black parents aren't in the household, and that's another problem. She was right when she said that, you know. She was right when she said black boys cannot read. I mean, I worked in jail with a number of black boys, and they had a hard time spelling, and I had to spell for them, and I had to read a lot of their information. She was right when she said that. So we need to make sure that we're not emotionally responding to anything. Maturity is being able to receive information without bias, even if it's from people that we don't really like that much. And so this is getting lengthy. Thanks for tuning in with me. Thanks for watching this. I'm outside of my house because I just didn't feel like going in and doing this. But I thank you for watching this episode. Please thumbs up this. Please share this video. Let me know the cultural conversation. Let me know what you thought of the Revolt TV discussion. Let me know how you feel about popularity versus intellect. And how important that is in our culture. Do you think that people respond to popularity more than intellect? And why do we do that? Why is that so important to us? So that's our cultural conversation. And that's a conversation you can have at your dinner table or wherever you are. So thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. This is Old School Heart. Y'all have a good night.